What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast. This is the Monday Night Raw Ramblin' Recap from Monday, February 16th, 2026. And let's get right into things. It started off with a promo with The Vision. I swear to God, it feels like, to me, The Vision is just kind of treading water now without Braun. And it's a really strange thing to say because a couple months back, Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns. So how are they just kind of being there, filling time, yet they don't feel important? If you have a masked man going in, attacking people, and running back into the crowd as a higher priority than maybe, I don't know, building Austin Theory as the next big thing, which clearly they want to do, I don't get it. But yes, The Vision opened up Raw like they do every single week. LA Knight comes out, though, a little different. Nope, not at all. LA Knight's been feuding with The Vision for like 3 years now, I feel like. Even though The Vision hasn't even been around for 3 years, that's what it feels like. LA Knight cuts a good promo. I'm glad he's back. We run through the segment, sets up a tag team match, and the Usos lose to The Vision. So now, instead of being in a main event program, The Vision is stuck in a tag team scene which is floundering. The Usos winning the titles was supposed to help things, and now they're not. Obviously, Jimmy's got some other stuff going on at home with Naomi, so it's forgivable, but then why give them the belts going into WrestleMania? You want to make the belts hot, not cold. They've been cold. So I guess the way that they want to heat these belts back up is by giving them to The Vision, or maybe giving The Vision a tag title match at WrestleMania, and then we find out who the masked man is. So we're not going to know for another 2 months. How ridiculous is that? I don't think they even know who the masked man is. I will say, though, Logan Paul taking a curb stomp on top of the table looked really, really cool. It was a fun way of doing an attack that they haven't really done. He took the mic, started talking, yelling at everybody, and then he got hit with the curb stomp. So something different. Logan Paul's really growing on me. How long are we going to wait to unveil who this masked man is? And how long can we keep the same story running without Braun Breaker? Hopefully they figure that out. I don't remember where in the show this was. I don't know if it was the next backstage segment or what. But there is a new mystery on Monday Night Raw. Not only do we have who is the masked man, we also have which is the real Grande Americano. And now we have what is in the crate. I swear I really, really thought, no, I didn't even think. I don't really care what's in the crate. I really don't care. They shipped it off to Raw. Nope, let's ship it off to SmackDown. And guess what? It's probably going to go right back to Raw. Maybe it'll go to NXT. If there is somebody living in this crate, that is one of the dumbest things that the WWE has ever done in all the years of the WWE. How are they supposed to explain that somebody's living in this thing? There's no way they can't. Like, how do they go to the bathroom? How do they get food? You gotta make it make sense. So the only viable reason that I can see if this is truly a person is Danhausen. Danhausen has made debuts and returns in the most out of left field ways possible. Completely out of fever dreams. Like, he debuted in AEW getting pulled out from under the ring. He came back to Ring of Honor getting pulled out from under the ring. So who's to say he's not living in this crate? They'll make it work somehow, I guess. But the more likely option that I absolutely hate is it's probably a Dude Wipes. Dirty Dominic Mysterio, now on his gear whenever he goes out to wrestle, will have Dude Wipes written on his gear somewhere. He is a walking promotional machine, much like me, the host of the Ramblin' About Wrestling podcast, Nick Pearl. If you see me at a show, I'm promoting my own name. He will go out and promote Dude Wipes. Who's going to go and buy a Dude Wipes Dirty Dominic Mysterio t-shirt? I could not name one single person other than Dude Wipes. It just kind of slapped on his shirt. He has all these good designs. Nope, let's throw Dude Wipes on there. So stupid. So nobody's buying his merch. He's going to lose money that way. But I'm sure with the brand deal, maybe he'll make it back. But speaking of Dirty Dom, they did something really, really great in the backstage segment. This was the show of backstage segments and promos, I feel like. Liv Morgan and STEPHANIEVAQUER has been a very cold feud. Not a lot of people have really cared because the women's main event title scene in general is kind of lackluster. Stephanie's a great champion. She's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong. But she's been given complete garbage. To the point where Raquel Rodriguez should have beaten her in the street fight a couple of weeks ago. And that didn't happen. You could have shook up some things for WrestleMania with that win. I digress, though. This backstage segment really focused things. Liv and Dirty Dom were talking to Michael Cole. STEPHANIEVAQUER walks in and cuts a really impassioned promo that she's working so hard to prove to all the little girls where she came from that anything is possible. And she became a champion through all of her hard work and determination. So she's going on and on, talking in Spanish. Dirty Dom starts translating to Liv Morgan. And then Liv starts to cry. I don't understand why she's crying. But at least she touched something personal with whatever Stephanie said. Liv felt it. Maybe she was that little girl way back in the day. Remember when she won the SmackDown Women's Championship? Not a lot of people do. Liv did win Money in the Bank and she cashed in and won. People forget she was that little girl with a dream. So maybe, now I had it all in my head that Liv is going to choose Stephanie. But now that I'm recording, I'm actually changing my mind. Stephanie has that connection much like Liv. That is why Liv was crying. Liv's going to go and challenge Jade instead. This just sounds wrong coming out of my mouth, but I can see it now. Now that I'm talking out loud, it makes perfect sense. The real story is Liv and Raquel. You can still do the Judgment Day breaking up at WrestleMania if Liv challenges Jade. And the people are going to cheer Liv over Jade. She would not get the same reaction against Stephanie. Not at all. The Vegas crowd from last year, they're very smart. They're a tough crowd. I can tell you because I was there. So we'll see exactly where they go with this. But I genuinely feel like the WWE Women's Championship matches at WrestleMania are just up in the air. You flip a coin, and that's the match you're going to get. So at this point, I think WWE really just wants to see which stories get more traction. But in the case of this, with Liv walking off crying, I would lead more towards Liv and Stephanie having that understanding about where each other came from. So Liv will challenge Jade instead. Staying in the Judgment Day realm, I am loving what they're doing with Finn Bálor. They're bringing it, first of all, they're bringing back everything that just used to work. They gave him his old theme song back. They're letting him cut promos. They're doing this in a way that Finn is getting away from the Judgment Day without actually splitting from the Judgment Day. Because you're going to have the tension in the group regardless. You have the tension in the group on the women's side. Do you need the tension on the men's side as well? Maybe. That would be interesting to see. To see the group just crumble from the inside. But CM Punk is reminding Finn of who he is. Finn can be a heel all he wants. But the one thing that Finn needs to understand is that the crowd wants to be behind him. Finn doesn't need the Judgment Day in his corner. Finn needs the fans. And bringing back his OG theme song that interacts with the crowd, by the way, that is a great way to do it. CM Punk says all the right things to Finn, and Finn's got his back up and everything with the Judgment Day. He's got Dirty Dom and he's got JD behind him. But it's just that. They're behind him. Finn's becoming more of a leader. He's not going to be the leader of Judgment Day. He's going to be the leader of the Bálor Club. It'll come back. And Finn's going to have a crazy good performance against CM Punk. I'm assuming they're doing this world title match at the Chamber. I don't remember if they actually booked it or not. But this is going to be a career-defining year for Finn Bálor. And if it's not, he's got to go. This is his last opportunity to make a name for himself, to really establish that he can be a main event player in the WWE. We can get that potential back from when he first debuted on Raw and beat Roman Reigns. We can get that Finn Bálor that beat Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. We can get that Finn back. This is that rebuilding phase. And come WrestleMania, I really hope that Finn comes full circle and he understands where he stands. Whether it's with the Judgment Day or it's not. We got 2 more things left to cover, and this is something that I've been seeing a ton of discourse over on social media today. The AJ Lee and Becky Lynch promo. This build is just weird. I'm not saying it's bad. A lot of people are saying it's bad, but I'm saying it's just weird. Because AJ Lee is not full-time. Becky Lynch is full-time. AJ Lee comes for a couple of weeks, does what she's got to do, beats somebody up. But she's been living around the Intercontinental title scene ever since Maxine won the belt back at MSG. And by the way, there was no real follow-up from that. AJ wasn't even in the Rumble. Instead of having the obvious AJ eliminates Becky in the Rumble, you had Natty take out Becky, which is great for Natty. By the way, that's another missed opportunity, not putting Natty in the chamber. But we'll talk about that at a different time, I'm sure. The whole thing with their promo tonight is that Becky takes herself so seriously at being unserious. It's contradicting, I know. But that's the only way you can describe this promo that happened. And then AJ Lee is crazy. So everything that she says is going to make it look like she's playing a character, even though she's just plain nuts. So when you take unserious and you take plain nuts and mix them together, you should get something good, but it's just not hitting for whatever reason. If AJ was full-time, that would be a different story. But I feel like they're hot-shotting this entire thing. I enjoyed the promo, but I see where everybody else is coming from. There's no way that AJ's winning the belt in Chicago. So I'm 100% confident that they're going to extend this to WrestleMania, and I hope that the next 2 months of stories is better. Because both women deserve better heading into the grandest show of them all. Final thing for Monday Night Raw, Javon Evans qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. The young OG. He's younger than the chamber itself. So when the first chamber happened, this guy wasn't even born. That's a crazy stat right there. Looking at the 3 people that were in this qualifier, Javon Evans, Gunther, Dirty Dom. Dom's not entering as Intercontinental Champion. If Gunther enters the chamber, he's got to lose. Javon makes it exciting because Drew McIntyre needs an exciting opponent at WrestleMania. We don't want the obvious in Cody Rhodes, which is just going to piss people off. Let's not run Cody back. Who wants to see it? Not me. I really think they can use the chamber to build Orton versus Cody. But if they do, that remains to be seen. I really do not want to see Cody versus Drew at Mania. Give Drew somebody fresh and exciting. Javon Evans could be that. Jacob Fatu could be that. Hell, even throw Randy Orton in there. I know they've had a couple of matches, but let's do it again. Anything's better than Cody right now at this point. So, that's my take on it. But this has been the Ramblin' Recap for Monday Night Raw. Overall, a solid show, but I've seen better. They're trying to advance some stories, but they're kind of in slow motion right now. And the road to WrestleMania should be going full force. A couple weeks ago when Braun flipped the table, that was full force. Now it's like they took a step back and they're stepping on the brakes. Hopefully they start speeding things up again. But I've been your host, Nick Pearl. This has been the Ramblin' Recap from Monday Night Raw from Monday, February 16th, 2026. And I'll catch you on the next one. Let's keep rambling, everybody.